Hey everyone, this is Athletes and Antiquities, and in today's video we're going to talk about what cards to look for to grade for a profit and how to find them. So before I get into it, I just want to make sure that's clear that I'm really only specifying cards to grade for a profit here. If you want to grade a card for your collection, it doesn't matter what it is. If you want that card slabbed and you want to keep that card and you really like that card, go for it. Just grade it. Don't worry about it. But this is more about what to look for to grade from a profit incentive with the intention to sell down the line, whether it may be to flip onto the market or to hold at and grade it early and kind of speculate on it, whatever you're interested in. So with things to flip it's hot potato, as Dan Ketchmal Collectibles always says. He's playing hot potato. You want to get cards that may not be profitable to grade in 6 months, but people are always very irrational with a set right when it comes out. So if a set just comes out and there's a really big card in it and you obtain that card, flipping it for a profit is much easier the earlier in that set's life cycle it is. Like things with promos like Special Delivery Charizard or sets like V-Star Universe, stuff like that, they saw massive PSA 10 prices right out of the gate, and it was a steady decline from there. So if you can be first to market, you can play hot potato with those cards and be very successful. I am not a hot potato kind of guy. I like to kind of take my time. So because I'm taking my time, I have to be much more specific in what I grade. I can't just grade that new modern set, flip it for a 10 and profit. I don't like that style. It's not me personal. So I get older cards. But today I'm going to talk about the things that I look for. So I recently found a guy who had a lot of cards that I was looking for in fairly good condition. And when you find somebody that has cards that are not common to find in very good condition, I'm just telling you, go with your gut. If you think they're a good price and you know this guy has good condition cards, buy what you can. Because with some sets like Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, it's very hard to get cards that are in very good condition. So I bought a bunch of cards, a bunch of singles of Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5 kind of cards that I want to grade. So this card is obviously not in PSA 10, but this is a Salamence. It's from Dragon Vault, but it's the Championships version. It's a very, probably the hardest version of this card to obtain. There's a staff version, which is harder, but this variant of like not being the normal reverse hollow, the normal hollow, the normal Cosmos hollow, it's this variation is hard to obtain, and it's probably in PSA 8 condition. So it's definitely a card I wanted to pick up because it's just very hard to obtain. And a lot of these other cards, they're not all PSA 10 caliber, but a lot of them, none of these are sleeved actually. That's not a good sign. None of these are sleeved. So we're gonna go through this very carefully, and after this video ends, I'm gonna sleeve them up. I'm not gonna make you guys watch me as I sleeve cards up. But yeah, so you're gonna see a theme here very quickly of what I'm grading. So first off, this is a Gen 3 card, not gradable. It's very scratched, but it was a very good deal. I got it for less than $1, so I just picked it up. I got some more Gen 3 hollows here. This one was labeled as near mint, so I'm gonna see how feasible that is to grade. A lot of Gen 3 reverses here, but here's the bulk of what I purchased. This guy had a lot of black and white hollows in Japanese, and the reason why I'm going after these is because they're very low pop, they're very hard to grade, they're very hard to find in good condition at all. Even if you have them in good condition, they're very hard to grade. I'm gonna hold the edges here to try and, it's kind of an awkward angle for my hand, but I'm gonna hold it on the edges here so I'm not damaging any hollows because these are not in sleeves. But so I'm grading a lot of black and white era hollows because I can get these cards. I found these hollows for less than $1 a piece, and actually I'm just gonna put them like this so I'm not being weird about it. So yeah, I got these hollows for, most of them are less than $1 a piece. A few of them were a few dollars, but nothing was more than like $5. This card I think was $5. That was the most expensive one, but a lot of these are fairly cheap, and the upside is so high. You know, they're low population cards from a very difficult era to find at all, let alone find in good condition. So when you see someone that has some mint cards from this era, don't be afraid to message them and just be like, hey, you got anything else? because that's what this guy did. He had a few holos, and I reached out to him. I said, hey, do you have any others? And I ended up getting a lot more from him. And I do plan on going through these methodically and finding anything that's PSA 9 or higher that I think will get that, and I'm going to grade those. Because like I said, PSA populations are so low on these, the upside is so high. I don't need to sell these immediately. I am not desperate for cash with these. I'm gonna grade what I can. Most of these are gradable, but I'm gonna go through more carefully. I'm gonna find the ones that are gradable, and I have some Neo in here. It's kind of all over the place, but and I'm just gonna wait. So a lot of these, if I get 9s, if I get 10s, I think I'm gonna flip them into the market just to get some of my money back. But with black and white 9s, I have no problem. Oh, there's a Neo card, you see? I have no problem sitting on cards for a while. So if you notice, if anybody ever checks out my eBay, this isn't to shill my eBay, this is just to explain it. I never rush to sell a card. I grade a card or I find a card and I just price it at a price that I think I am okay with it going for. So sometimes I'll grade a card and I list it higher than market, and I have no problem waiting 6 months until I think that market catches up to what I think it should be valued at. And I do that with some more niche items. If there hasn't been a sale in a while, I just kind of throw a price out there and say, hey, I want to sell it for this, but I'm in no rush. And that's what I'm going to do with these holos. So these black and white holos, all the 10s I get, if I get any 10s, I don't want to assume. If I get any 10s, I think I'm going to flip them. But any 9s, I think I'm just going to keep them because populations are so low. The holo pattern is so unique. I love these black and white holos. And I'm just going to keep them and see what happens. You know, if in 10 years, these black and white holos haven't moved a muscle, they haven't moved in price at all, that's okay. I'm not super beat up about that. I'm just going to hang on to them because I like them. I'm okay with keeping them at the price I obtained them for. But if they do go up in value, I will be ready to sell those into that market. And that's an important thing where, like, there's different kinds of sellers out there, and it's an important thing to figure out where you are. If you're a flipper, if you're a churn and burn kind of guy, you can't have this luxury. It's not to say one's better than the other, but you can't really just sit on product like that. But if you're a casual seller like me, you know, I have a job outside of this, I'm an engineer. If you have a job outside of it, you're not really worried about the money, this is more just for fun, don't be afraid to hold. Did I buy this many of these? Or did he send me more? I don't think I bought that many of the same card. But don't be afraid to hold a card if you think it's worth more than the market is valuing it at. You know, you could be way off, but you also could be right. You know, so if I think if this Heatran EX comes back at 10, and I'm going to make up a number, the market values it at $25. I don't want to sell it for 25. I want to sell it for 50. I'm just going to throw it up on eBay for 50 and wait until it sells. And that's my strategy. It's worked for me for years, and because I have the ability to do that, because I'm not really relying on this for money. But that's my strategy. See, I have a lot of ace specs here. I love ace specs. Ace specs get no love from the hobby as a whole. Like PSA 9s go for like 20 bucks. It's stupid, but I love ace specs. So I don't want to say bullish, but I think ace specs are going to do very well. But yeah, like, look at these cards. You know, there was a period of time when when black and white first came out, I didn't like the holo pattern. I'm a Gen 3 guy. I loved the Cosmos holos. And when Gen 5 radically changed the holo pattern, I kind of rejected it. But now, as it's become more of a nostalgic generation, you know, sorry about that. I remember when these things were new, but now that it's kind of becoming nostalgic, I'm really appreciating these holo patterns more than I thought I would. And it's a bad angle, so I'm gonna show you. These ones have a very, the Japanese especially, they pop. They have a very unique cross-hatch holo pattern. I'm trying to catch the light. That I think is beautifully done. In English, it's the same holo pattern, but it doesn't extend to the border, which is an important distinction. So black and white only has this straight line, I forget what their term is for them, but this straight line holo pattern that goes all the way through the card. And so I found all these cards super cheap, as I said. I'm just gonna send them to grade, see what happens. My cost basis is so low on these, they're less than $1 a piece, that if they all come back 7s and 8s and I get wrecked, I'm only in it for the grading cost basically, so I'll probably just hang on to them. You know, I'm not an exclusive 10 collector. I just bumped that card. I probably just nicked it a little bit. That's unfortunate. But I'm not an exclusive 10 collector, so I don't mind collecting 8s, but the rest of the hobby doesn't like them, so I wouldn't really be able to sell them for much, so I'll just hang on to them. But yeah, my question for you guys is, what are you, like, are there certain things that you see in the hobby that just don't make sense to you, that you think are way too low? Like for me, I think these black and white hollows are so cheap for what they are. It's from a time when very few people were in the hobby, so the populations on these, and outside of just grading, the populations in general of these hollows are very low compared to what we're used to for a hollow. Now hollows are seen as kind of like trash, but back then there was still some dignity in the hollow. So it's from an era where, oh, this is like, that's X and Y, I think? It has to be, right? That's what, crab roller. So I guess I didn't get all black and white here. Oh, now we're getting into more XY. Okay, so a little bit all over the place here, but yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry, I'm just trying to I'm just passing the time as I flip through these, just chatting. But let me know what you guys think. Like, are there generations where you're like, yeah, I value this way more than the hobby does? Like, I'm picking these up for dirt cheap from my eyes, because for me that's black and white. For me that's some Diamond and Pearl, although Diamond and Pearl and EX era has caught up tremendously. There's some Versus series for you guys. There's some, is that what, 10th anniversary? I might have just made that up, I don't know. But a little Prime action, because I've said it before, I love Primes too. I think Primes are beautiful. So big on Primes, bullish Prime guy. We're getting to the back here, a lot of EXs. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm buying right now. Some people have asked me before. Although I'm a Gen 3 guy, I appreciate generations outside of that. As you can see here, I've showed you guys some Neo cards, some black and white cards, some Gen 3 cards here, a little bit of Gen 4. I've clicked everything, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Am I dumb for thinking these cards are way undervalued? Like these EXs, I think $3 a piece or less. The hollows $1 a piece or less. It's too easy in my mind. Like, I would personally pay more than that. So whenever that happens, I'm a buyer. If I see a card that I'm like, man, that's what, like a $5 card and it's 50 cents, instant buy. Because I value that card so much more than the rest of the hobby. Either I'm wrong and I lose 50 cents, who cares? Or I'm right and it can go up 10x in the blink of an eye as soon as more people catch on. So those are my rambling thoughts for today. There was absolutely no aim to this video at all, so I apologize if you're looking for some hardcore knowledge here. I was just kind of talking while I was flipping through an order I just got. Let me know what you think. Do you like these kind of cards? Do you not? Yeah. If you have a video idea for something you want to see coming up, let me know. Thanks.